You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the host of Community Forum and the owner of KCCC 930 AM. And with me today, I'm going to say it's his first interview as mayor of Carlsbad, is Mayor Rick Lopez. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you, sir.
Now, I'm sure you've interviewed with a local paper or something of that nature, but this will be your first radio interview.
This is my first radio interview.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy that you chose this radio station when we asked you, so thank you for being there. I know you've been on once before when you were the fire chief, and we had you talking about the Firefighter Combat Challenge, and so that's when I originally got to meet you. So I'm going to ask a few questions. We're going to get right into this. It's going to be about 30 minutes long. It might be a little bit less. You were inaugurated, January 1 is when you started? What's
Correct.
the first day?
Yeah, January 1st.
Yeah, and so that was a midnight inauguration, right?
Correct.
That's what they do. I mean, at 12:01, you're on.
Yes,
right?
yes. 12:01, it's my show now.
Yeah, that's right. There's an emergency. It's on Rick. It's not on Mayor Janway, right?
Correct.
All right. So, how's it been? What are we looking at? 3 months in? 2 months in?
Yeah, well, right at 2 months now, I guess. Starting today, it's been exciting. It's a lot. I was fortunate enough, Mayor Janway and I, into November and December, we'd sit down and we'd meet once, twice a week with different key players within the city and kind of helped me get my feet under me for January 1, of course. And then hit the ground running. We know it's going to take time for change.
Yeah.
That's what I campaigned for, was change, and I'm excited to get involved in that. I've made it up to Santa Fe 3 times during that legislation, meeting folks. Because there's a new kid on the block. I've got to meet everybody. Right. I've got to shake hands. I gotta know who I'm working with. I've met to DC once for a few days, so nice. Met with the delegation up there. Meeting with staff every day, finding out everything I thought I knew and everything I didn't know.
No doubt.
We have great staff with the city and opening up positions to hire. I could talk a year off about that stuff. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that for sure. So one of the next questions I wanted to ask you is, why did you run, right? And one of the reasons you run was obviously public safety, is what you just mentioned, and change, right? So why don't you kind of maybe get into the type of change that you're looking for or that you hope to bring to the community now that you're mayor? Okay,
so I retired. I was retired a year, and I miss serving the public. Yes, I'm a firefighter out at WHIP. It's a different concept, different type of call volume out there. But when I was fire chief, I felt we were doing a lot of good things, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to give back, and how do you do more? Well, you do what I did and run for mayor. Mm-hmm. And so changes I want to make. Carlsbad's on the edge. I mean, we have money here, we have work for folks here, but we have problems. Mm-hmm. And my personality is a fix-it personality. Okay. I think that's why I did so well in public safety, because you get dealt a problem and you fix it.
So you've been an executive before. As a fire chief, you're an executive of an organization.
So as a fire chief for a decade, that was my job. In my opinion, my job was to give my men and women the tools they needed, the training they needed to do the job they needed to do. And so that's what I did, was facilitate. All the great work was by them.
Right.
The boots on the ground, they do awesome work, and I'm very proud of being a part of that organization. I simply opened the door for them. Mm-hmm. And so I feel that's what I need to do as a mayor, is open the door for our departments to do more for our citizens. And we have the money, we have the expertise, we have the ability just right at our fingertips. All we need is the green light. Right. And we need a vision. I plan. I'm a planner. Short-term, long-term planning. I want things for this town, and the only way to get it is, first of all, want it.
Right.
Second of all, figure out how to do it, and that's what we're going to do. Right. And with the experts that I have working with at the city, we're going to get those things done. Okay. And so it's real exciting.
Let me ask you a question related to that, and I find this very interesting. It's something I've talked about in the community, and you and I did not discuss this before our interview. City of Carlsbad mayor does not get paid. Right.
Well, what do you get $800 a month.
How much?
$800 a month.
$800 a month is actually more than I assumed. But does that $800 prevent you from being a full-time mayor? Right. So you're also a firefighter at WHIP,
yes,
right? As well as a full-time mayor. That's juggling responsibilities. Do you believe that the mayor's pay should be enough to be considered a full-time job?
Well, that's a tough question, and here's why. I did not run for mayor for the money.
You got it,
because there is none.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot quit my job because of the money, right? Because there is none.
Okay.
So if it paid more, then I wouldn't have an issue putting 50, 60 hours in a week.
Right.
But I have to balance the two for my personal financial reasons. Right. That's just the reality.
That's what I'm getting at, sir. Right. The idea is that I have an idea. right? And a city council legislation, everything would have to happen for this. But let's just say it publicly for the first time. We have very high-paid individuals in the city of Carlsbad, which are going to be your city managers, your police chief, your fire chiefs, the people that need to be high-paid. You're going to have your lowest-paid individuals, which is probably your entry-level solid waste workers, administrative assistants, stuff like that, right? So we've got a very high level, we've got a low level, and in between those two is a median income, right?
Correct.
It's right smack in the middle to where the mayor is not wealthy. He can still buy his friend's lunch if he needs, right? But he's also still in a serving the public capacity, because it's not going to make you rich, right?
Correct.
But it is going to allow you to pay for your house, your car, and buy your wife lunch or buy your wife dinner,
there
right?
you go.
So that's just the concept. And I digress. That's all I wanted to say.
And I agree, and I believe the mayor of Artesia just went through this. I believe they increased his from $9,600 a year, the $800 a month, to $22,000 a year.
Right.
And there was so much negativity on Facebook, and the reality is, you're right. I did not run for mayor. I did not win mayor. I did not hold this seat for the money.
Right.
But therefore, I'm not allowed or able to quit my job because of the lack thereof. So I have to balance both. In which anyone that knows me, I've had 2 jobs, if not 3, in my whole life. I mean, it's what I do. I love to be busy. I love to have my, pulled in 10 different directions. That's my comfort zone.
Right.
So I fit right here perfectly. So
okay.
I'm excited for it.
No, I like that.
And honestly, we'll go back to Mayor Janway. I don't know if his first and second term, he was still safety for INW. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just the reality of Carlsbad. So I kind of just accepted that.
Yeah. So I'm new here, right? I've been here a few years. I definitely don't think that the mayor should be making some of the money that they're making in like Albuquerque and stuff like that, right? But it just seems like, from my perspective of being new here, I wouldn't mind some full-time stuff, right?
A little more balance.
Yeah, but it can't be too much money, because you know for a fact that you're serving, right?
Correct.
And you don't do this stuff for the money, but I would like to be able to pay the truck payment if it's not paid off or something. And then also the other part of that is, I do believe that you may be preventing younger people, younger in their careers, from having the opportunity, but for even thinking about running for that. So you might be eliminating the idea of new blood.
You're right. I mean, if you're not financially set up to just retire and then be mayor, and you're right, the word is retire, so that means there's an age limit.
Yeah,
automatically built in, because I don't know very many 20-year-olds that can retire.
No, right.
It's just not a common thing.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm 44 and I'm not retired.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I understand that's a good concern to have.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Food for
Thank
thought
you.
for anybody listening, for sure. I want to get back into the city, so I would like to ask, as mayor, 2 months, I've heard of some pretty major changes that have happened within the administration. You want to go over some of those with us?
Yeah. Well, we'll start off with at the top.
Okay.
City Administrator John Lowe had him and Mayor Janway had worked out a deal, and he stepped down from city administrator prior to my arrival as mayor. And I have elected or appointed, I guess is the proper term, Wendy Austin as an interim city administrator.
Right. And she'll have to go to city council to get confirmed, right?
Well, right now she's interim, and my next plan is to actually advertise that job.
Okay.
And interview. And she's doing a great job. She definitely is. But my experience in the fire department,
there, right?
I don't know what's out there. I want to give the city what's best, and it may be just her. She may be the best.
Right.
But we're gonna look through that, and we're gonna make sure that our next move is for the betterment of the city, city employees, city of Carlsbad. So that's probably the major move. Mr. Cordova, Ted Cordova, he was deputy city administrator. He retired end of last month, so he just recently retired.
So is that position vacant currently, or is that you have an interim in that job as well, or is she handling?
I'm going to make some changes there.
Okay.
So prior to my arrival, we had a city administrator and 3 deputy city administrators.
Okay.
There was Mr. Cordova was handling HR. He was as a deputy city administrator handling HR, handling 2 departments as replacing the directors there.
Right.
So I'm rewriting that. We're actually doing interviews today for HR directors. I'm going to replace the HR director. I'm going to replace the director of community development. And instead of spreading it amongst one person, 3 different jobs, I'm going to fill the jobs the way we used to have it. I feel it's a little more streamlined, getting a little more work done. So different way of doing it, but I think it'll work better.
So I think maybe you can explain this. I can explain it too as well. I used to work for the mayor of Albuquerque, and I was an unclassified employee, right? Which means that there were certain positions within the city that the mayor got to fill, and nobody really got to question it. The city council gets to confirm or unconfirm, but it's the mayor's choice, and typically his choices are confirmed, right? I mean, historically around the country. So these positions that you're talking about, the ones who are like, well, I'm going to replace the HR director, I'm going to replace the community relations person or that development person. These are exempt, unclassified positions to serve at the pleasure of the mayor, correct?
They are appointed positions by the mayor.
So they're not classified. They don't go through the same process as the guy that drives your trash truck twice a week. You know what I mean?
They typically don't have to go through the same process. They will with me.
Okay, all right.
So actually, there's a panel. I have Mayor Pro Tem J.J. Chavez is sitting in the panel with me as we interview for this director level position.
Got it.
So I am getting advice. I'm having some folks help me. I'm not just picking someone that I think is going to do a great job. I'm going to confirm it.
Yeah.
I'm going to confirm it.
Okay.
You know, and for all you know, it is my buddy. I don't know yet. We haven't got that far yet. But I'll tell you what is definitely happening is there are questions being asked. There are grading happening. We're scoring this. And I am doing everything I can to pick the best person I can. Now, as a fire chief for a decade, I've hired folks that just didn't turn out the way I thought they would. Yeah, that's life.
I mean, we've all done that, right?
You're right. But I am definitely doing everything I can to ensure that we are picking the right person for the job, not the right person for me.
Right, exactly.
Big difference.
And I think that's a valid question. I don't know if it happens that often down here, but nepotism in government is huge everywhere, or it happens a lot. And the idea of just being given a job because you campaigned the right way or you did something right, that happens a lot. So I'm glad to hear that. I mean, basically, I'm glad to hear that. So I want to switch to roads. Right, let's go ahead and talk about roads and potholes real quick. Why don't you tell everybody in the city of Albuquerque how our city of Carlsbad.
Come on south.
I've been talking about that city so much in this interview that I apologize. I am from Carlsbad, folks.
There you go.
All right. So talk about roads and potholes, and I will tell you that the potholes in Albuquerque are horrible. There we go. Yes. That's where that came from, all right? So the idea is why don't you explain a little bit about how the city of Carlsbad decides how to pave roads every year? Okay,
so I'm still learning that. I know that they try to do 10 roads a year. Now, what's the length of the road? How many blocks is it?
Right.
That I'm still figuring out. But I'll tell you what is definitely on the list as of right now. We're looking at from Ferris on Old Cavern, from Ferris to Chapman, replacing all of that with sewer and water underneath, new roads, curb gutter and sidewalk on the east side of the road because that's where we have our right of way. We're also, if you realize, we just did Lee Street the fall of winter of last year. We're going to do Mesa Street from Lee all the way to Pierce, I believe.
Okay.
And so two different types of roads. So the reason I bring those two up specifically is the one on Old Cavern, we're plowing it up. We're going deep. Yeah,
the cost of installing sewer and drainage and water and curbing and gutter, it's just so much more higher.
Curb, gutter, sidewalks, $1 million just for that little stretch.
Sure, so right.
$1 million, 1.2, 1.3.
Anyways, and that doesn't include cost overruns while they're doing the project.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a big job. So if we're going in with water, sewer, we're coming out top notch. We're going to do everything we can. Now, what we did on Lee Street was, I don't know the proper terms. This is a KCCC question, but anyways, they milled it up, top layer, and then they laid another layer down. And they can do a block at a time and get it done fairly quickly. Okay. The Old Cavern's going to take a while. So what they're doing on Mesa Street's the same thing they did on Lee. So they're going to do a block or two at a time, and they're going to be in and out in no time. And it's just going to be way better. Now, we also got to look at funding. Some people say, well, they've done that slurry seal or whatever they call it, where they just pour on new tar. It's like, I don't know the proper term, so don't quote me on that. But if you look at the grants, that'll hold that road for another 4 or 5 years, and it's grant money. It didn't cost the city nothing. It cost us up front, but then we got our money back. Versus if we decide to just take it down all the way and put new pavement down, that's a cost to the city. So how do we make our money stretch further?
Right.
So that's kind of the combination we do, and I'm excited to get involved in that to understand it better because I think the folks at the city are doing a great job. We have a lot of roads. We have a lot of wear and tear. Yeah. So we're trying to balance that. And anyone that knows from down here on south, getting that money from up north is tough.
Can be.
So we have to make that stretch as far as we can and do our best with it.
Let's talk briefly then about Eddy County and working with the city. And I think we were completely have all loops open now, right?
Yes.
Right. We have the west loop and the east loop, I believe.
Well, it's still closed. So George Shoup will connect to 62 180, but it's not open going south yet.
Oh, okay. So the new intersection's open on the Hobbs Highway, I noticed.
But it doesn't go south.
Yeah, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. So I just drove it yesterday. The barrels are still up.
So once that, good to know. So I knew that intersection, the
intersection's open.
DOT sent out a press release saying that intersection, the signal was active. So correct. I just assumed it went south. That's not. So that's huge. I know that was mentioned during the Canada Forum as well, how important that is to get some of the big semi trucks off our main roads in town that don't want to be here. They don't want to drive in the middle of the town. They're trying to go to Hobbs. They're trying to go somewhere else. So that'll be a huge benefit, and I think that'll be an opportunity for us to really work with DOT as best we can, right? And we get these roads kind of repaved after the semi trucks damage them, and then they'll last way longer too. Is the idea? Tell us how if I see a pothole, I can tell the city so they can fix it.
So we have the 311 system,
and that works for landline only. 311 does.
Correct, and that right. So that works for landline only. I don't have the number.
I do.
Right in front of me.
I got it for you.
You got the number.
It's 887-1200 from your cell phone.
There you go.
So 311 from your landline, but more important, 575-887-1200. I know that, Rick. I call it all the time. It's a great service.
Yes. So with that service, it's not just potholes.
Yes, I know.
It's your okay. Here's one thing: your dumpster, your rollout dumpster. Yep. Love them, hate them. That's a whole different segment. Yeah. But your lid's broke.
Yeah.
Call that number.
They crush after a while too.
Yeah.
And they break.
I mean, it's just up, down, in, out. So call that number. They'll have it changed out by the end of the week.
They will.
They're awesome.
I've witnessed it.
Our grappler system.
Oh, it's the best.
So you bring it out to the front. It's got to be in the front. No more alleys. That's a whole other long subject. But anyway, you bring it out to the front. You call. Boom. It's gone.
I know.
I mean, it's so potholes same way. So on the roads, on the potholes, I've asked City Administrator Austin to work with Pat Cass and hire additional construction workers. So they're looking at adding
actual city employees?
City employees.
Okay.
4 more city employees, and their job is to repair and add sidewalks to our community. Okay. So you've also just driving in a neighborhood. If you don't pay attention, just start looking at the sidewalks. Some of them are heaved up. Some of them are so old they're falling apart.
Some of them don't have any.
Some of them don't have them. So we're going to work on, first of all, repair. And then next thing you know, there was a grant we worked on many years ago, Safe Routes to School. The grant was very tedious, and there was so much money spent in testing that we didn't get enough sidewalks.
Sure.
We're going to use the concept, not the grant, to Safe Routes to School. So once we start getting some of these sidewalks repaired, from the trip hazards, from the the roots popping them up,
it's
all
a
that
huge
good
liability
stuff.
for the city,
for the homeowner too.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to fix that, and then we're going to continue down that path of this Safe Routes for School concept to add sidewalks where they're not sidewalks. Right. And drive around town. We have a lot of work. This cannot happen overnight, but if we don't start now, we're never going to get it done.
And being an age-friendly community and the first age-friendly community in the entire state of New Mexico, I believe what I've been told is the idea that the reason you see some curbing, like in other cities you see 90-degree curbing, right? And some of them have sloped curbing. The slope curbing is very specific age-friendly city design, right? Because then anybody can just kind of slope up that and handicap situation, kids, older adults. And so that slope and the curb is an age-friendly city design and something that cities do to comply with age-friendliness and to comply with ADA compliance and make it more convenient and more convenient for community members, right? I mean, that's what it is, right?
Definitely. So that's one of the projects that we're looking forward and moving on.
Okay. So roads and potholes, you guys do a pretty good job. I would say that I'm looking forward to Canyon Street being striped already, but striping involves consistent high temperatures. I know that, so that's why that's not striped yet.
So from high temperatures, low winds.
Right. So,
I mean, and honestly, we bring in a contractor for the first round, and they do a really, really good job, and then we'll maintain it after that.
Right. And so what people don't know is that there's a very limited number of contractors in the entire state of New Mexico, right? And they're working with all the cities and the state, and we'll have to take turns scheduling because there's not enough of them.
So
and then we're also competing with all these companies in the region that are all doing other streets in Texas. And all right,
so it's vicious cycle, but we're moving forward.
Let's do a few minutes on public safety, and I want to start with the idea of the fire that started under 285 on Monday, and today's March 1st. We're going to air this on March 5th, so this is a week now. When that fire happened, pretty big fire from the video you saw on social media, kind of got people freaked out. The bridge is cement, folks, so the likelihood of the fire destroying it too much is, you never know. Fire gets really hot, it can do that. So I wanted to ask you about that specifically. All the talk is that we thought as a community we might lose that bridge for a little while.
Yes, it was my fear also. So yes, it's bridge, it's metal. I mean, it's made of concrete, it's made of metal. But you get high enough temperatures, you can spall that concrete whenever we put water on it to put the fire out. It can crack it. It can. So anyway, so we did shut it down for safety. Yeah. And we brought in DOT. They brought in an engineer, and we made sure we cannot add to a problem with another problem.
Right.
So out of safety, we shut it down, which was a huge inconvenience, and we all realize this. This bridge conversation is not new to us.
Right.
You know, we've tried to get one on San Jose. The state turned us down. We're trying to get one on Radio and Boyd. We're working diligently on that, but that's several $1 million project. I mean, so we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're trying. It's not from lack of trying. But yeah, we shut it down for safety. We had the engineers come out. They looked at it, and they confirmed it was safe, and they're going to monitor it a little closer. So now we have to prevent it. So how do we prevent it? So this is debris collected, lack of a better term, for the unhoused. The folks down there, they set up camp, they set up their tents, and we've worked on different programs with them. I mean, it will never go away, unfortunately. It is an unfortunate part of life. But I've sat down with Mr. Hawkes with the Community of Hope, and I'm looking at sitting down with them and Lifehouse and Faith, Love, and Hope, Goodwill that's coming into town.
Yeah.
They offer a lot of programs, and I'll be honest with you, I thought I knew what they offered. It blew my mind.
Yeah, they're in depth.
I want to work with them. How do we make it possible that with all them programs, we actually put a dent in the problem? You know what I mean?
How are you going to put a dent? I mean, I know you work with the programs. So Community Hope, Lifehouse, these organizations, they exist, right? Homelessness is increasing all across the country. I'm going to reference Albuquerque yet again with you on this thing, and I'm tired of doing it, but the idea is I've lived there for 20 years. I witnessed the increase of the homeless situation, the increase of the homeless population, which increases crime as well. They don't have anything to do. Maybe they're addicted to drugs. They have mental health issues, right? I know for a fact that there was a business here in Carlsbad Thursday night that had their walk-in cooler broken into and stolen, and they've been complaining about the homeless population hanging out behind that business. Right. So people with nothing to do, people with no hope or moving forward or anything, or doing drugs and mental health, they're going to start hurting the community in some way, and we're starting to see it, right? And if you don't get in front of it now, it degrades like Albuquerque. So how do we get? I know you work with Community Hope, you work with Lifehouse, but you don't want them doing that type of stuff here. So what's the solution?
Well, the solution is working with them. It is trying to help the ones that want to be helped. That's where we start. The second thing is we may have to do some criminal trespass stuff. So what I've done on the police side of things is more police presence. So Chief Skinner, our police chief, came up with this concept. He's looking at putting in the budget 2 positions, and I don't know, lack of a better, I don't have the title. It's not a community service officer. It's a public service. I don't know exactly what he's going to title it. Anyways.
Not an actual certified law enforcement officer. So
no.
This program,
an actual certified.
Okay, so the PSA program exists, community service officer programs and stuff. Those programs exist all over the country.
Right, and that's not what I'm talking about.
All right.
This is a whole different one. This is a certified officer. We're going to put them on 10-hour shifts. We're going to hire a couple of them, so we'll have 7-day coverage a week. And their job is to go downtown, go to all our businesses, especially downtown, get out of their vehicle, walk in and out of them stores, say hi, hey, everything good, making sure their presence is going to be known.
That's funny, because that's policing that we all remember when we were kids, right?
Every park they're going to run in. I don't care if it's the mall. I don't care if it's over there with Walgreens, all the different areas. Downtown, every park, for 10 hours a day, they're going to be in and out. They're going to be certified officers. If there's an issue they need to deal with, they don't need to call for backup. Unless it's a big issue, of course. Right, but if it's a criminal trespass, they can issue that. If they need to arrest somebody, they can handle that. So it's not an uncertified person to where now we're relying on pulling our resources off the beat. We're actually adding a resource. Okay. So then we have a big incident. They're free. They're gonna run over there. But I'm telling you, we're gonna have them in the parks. We're gonna have them in the businesses. They're going to go back to being the community friendly. How can we help solve the problem? So
how many, you would know this, you campaigned on the idea of hiring for public safety. So how many police officers do you feel that we're short? How many firefighters are we short? Now, you're also talking about growing the budget, right? We're in a position to grow the budget as a city right now without raising taxes, right? But the idea is none of the growing of the budget and the positions can really happen until July 1, right? Because that's when the new budget is passed. You might be able to finagle some stuff. But
I did.
Okay, all right. Because I was like, the budget is July 1, but go
ahead. So, yes. So we'll start with the police department. Well, I'll start with the fire department. It's easier. They're short administratively. An assistant chief, it's a second one. They do have one assistant chief. A fire marshal and a training officer. The fire marshal's already been approved and hired and put into play.
Great.
Here's the other thing is when you're so short-handed, where do you pull the resources from? And now you just move that problem.
Right now you have another position to hire for.
Yeah, so Chief Orange is working through that right now. His next position is going to open up as a training officer. and so on and so forth. Now, police department. Before I came on, in December, I believe, they voted, the schools were able to find money or provide money for 5 school resource officers.
Okay.
But those positions weren't added at the same time. So we added those positions, already on the books.
All right.
They're added. He needed an IT guy. He needed another captain, added him. He needed someone else for evidence, added him. These 2 community officers, I don't know exactly the title yet, we're adding them in the budget right now. We're putting them in, we're hiring, we're making it happen right now. Because I feel that our public safety was behind the curveball by a lot.
All right.
And we can't wait till July 1 on some of these. We understand what recruitment takes. We understand what training takes. I know in the fire department alone, if I hire an uncertified person 18 months before they're signed off to our standard, 18 months.
Right, I know.
I can't wait another 6. So we're moving now.
Right.
With public safety. Other jobs
But
within
you
the
have
city,
unfilled positions already that are already budgeted that we got to get filled
Right.
in addition to the ones that you want to bring
so
in on top
definitely.
of that.
So some of those were frozen, they're unfrozen.
Got it.
Some of those we added, just the necessary. We can't wait till July 1.
Right.
The time that it takes to hire, let's go back to the SRO program. School starts in August.
Right.
I cannot wait till July to hire them. It's not going to happen.
Why would that?
We want 7 officers in our schools. We have to hire today.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
And that's what Chief Skinner. I'm very optimistic.
So the school resource officers are Carlsbad Police Department police officers. They're not.
Certified
they're
officers.
not Carlsbad Municipal School officers because some school districts have their own police departments.
No.
They're part of us. We're all in one.
Carlsbad Police Department, fully certified officers.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
it's a great program. And again, that was there before I got there, but I'm just opening the door to hire. And we're getting those done. I mean, we're doing them now.
What type of frustration did you have as fire chief with the idea that there were positions that were locked in place that could not be hired, that were frozen? Like, why? Like, what was the mindset behind that for you?
It was horrible, and here's why. Like I just told you, 18 months from an uncertified to a certified person. When we were running on all cylinders, lack of a better term, at the fire department, had all my positions filled, fully staffing the boots on the ground is always a tough deal. You got retirements, you got movement or whatever. To stay 100% staffed is difficult. We've added a fire station, we added positions, but the time it takes to train them, it took us 5 years. So I'll try to keep this story short. There's no state requirement for a firefighter as far as what type of training. Okay. The fire chief is the authority having jurisdiction, and whatever he says goes, and that's it. I changed that. There is a standard, and I adopted that standard, and that's what we went with. It took me 5 years to get the whole department up to that standard.
Sure.
Now, granted, they were at that standard as far as being able to work. They didn't have the paperwork that backed them up.
Right.
To just get the paperwork, it took us that long. So I digress. Back to today. With those short frozen positions, what's not getting done? And that's the big key. And the day that we figure that out, I'm going to estimate it takes you 5 years to get back to where you were. Because that stuff doesn't happen overnight. That training, that level of expertise does not happen overnight.
Well, and then the competition for firefighters and police officers in this state or all across the country is unreal.
Yes, it's
I
tough.
mean, and then once you get trained and certified as a police officer or a firefighter, you are now incredibly valuable to just about any community in the whole country.
Exactly.
And we're all competing against each other.
Exactly.
I want to ask another quick question for you on that, and that is, I recently heard a Eddy County Sheriff's deputy bragging about how many police officers that he was able to recruit to the sheriff's department from the Carlsbad Police Department.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's more of a Chief Skinner question, but that happens back and forth, and I'll be honest with you, it's pay and benefits. The county does have a little better benefit package as far as what it costs the employee. It's a little cheaper or quite a bit cheaper, but in the last 2 years, the city of Carlsbad has picked up more of their retirement. The city of Carlsbad has increased their base pay, so that we're back to competing. It's just one of those. You just have to kind of go with the times.
I guess my question is going to be real blunt here. Is the idea is why are we not working together to where we can't compete against each other? We should not be competing against the law enforcement agency in the same county as us, right? We need to be so. If we are stealing 3 from Peter to pay Paul, and then Paul pays back Peter, and it's the same guys, and they're just bouncing back and forth so they can get a little bit of pay raise, we can't get together as a community and decide that all law enforcement officers in our community get paid a certain amount, so then we're recruiting outside of our communities and you're not helping ourselves by doing that, is what I'm saying.
That is something to look into, definitely. I believe with the City of Carlsbad elected officials and the county commission, that's something we can discuss. That's something we can sit down at the table and come up with a plan.
Right. So
to work together.
If you have pay parity, right? If the benefits are the same for law enforcement officers, and we're in such a desperate situation with law enforcement that we could change some benefit packages for law enforcement and maybe not have it the same as other employees because we need public safety so much.
Right.
So I mean, if we have them all working together, and then we can recruit outside of that, and we don't have to worry about stealing from each other. Then the only way you would have officers leave is if you have the wrong leader.
Correct.
Not pay. Proper equipment, proper vehicles, all that stuff really, really matters. But if we're all in that same standard, they only leave because they don't have the right leader. It's not because they're not getting paid enough, they don't have the right equipment.
Correct.
And then we're working cohesively as a community. Some more food for thought, man.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to have a new sheriff pretty soon in November, right?
Yes.
So that's I think there's a prime opportunity. That's what I'm saying. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to keep going.
Yes.
We're probably at 30 minutes, but I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is we're going to call this part 1.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more.